Another question is, why is our asphalt paint $190 a pail for regular dry? It's a great question. Right now, with paint shortages everywhere, we're not able to actually deal with manufacturers that are actually manufacturing the paint. We've had to go out and source paint to be able to supply to our customers from all over, meaning that we're having to buy from retailers in order to sell it. And of course, we do our best to help, but straight up, our margins are very slim. We don't work on very large margins, but we do our best to be able to supply people who are in need. So small retailers, we are picking up paint. We're able to actually consolidate that. That's shipping into another location. That consolidation takes and costs money and time. And then we have to go ahead and ship that back out. There's shipping involved with that as well. By the way, that paint price does include shipping as well, and shipping paint is not inexpensive at all. It's very costly. An example would be a container to ship across the Atlantic used to cost us about $6,000. Well, as of last week, it's $32,000 to ship a container. So to give you an idea, the trickle effect is taking place right now. Inflation's happening everywhere. You're going to see it more and more so. If I were you, I would strongly recommend investing into things right now at the lower prices before you see that trickle effect take place and start increasing prices even more, because it will happen as you roll into the spring. Are you professional, and do you present yourself professionally with professional marketing material, professional brand, or are you in that hack bracket, so to speak? And what I would strongly recommend is just reviewing how your setup is right now. And truly, are you checking off that checklist of all the things that allow you to separate from those hacks? What you'll find is that those hacks will no longer be hacks. They kind of fade away into the dark. Competition is something that you pay attention to, or you pay attention to your excellent branding and exposure and the way that you communicate to separate yourself from those people. So hopefully that helps a little bit. Can you tell me the pros and cons of off-site locations versus at your residence? You know, it's a great question, and I think it depends on the size of your residence. Like, I'm sure that Justin remembers, you know, we had an office, we had an off residence location. We had an office that I'd rented for very inexpensive with a big yard. And if, you know, I was able to get the equipment in there and wash it properly, clean it properly, and keep it in a good state. And it was off site, and it also had the marketing attached to it. So we had a sign out front, which was really good. And our staff liked being able to come to the yard. You remember that, J-Man? When, you know, and Il Perot, remember, with the steamrollers and all the trucks and everything?
Yeah.
And so, you know, the marketing and the team, it feels good to have a nice off-site location, but I think you'll grow into that if that's something maybe you can't afford out of the gate. I'm not saying that's the case, but if, let's say, you need to get started from your residence as a starting point, and you have enough, you know, you have ample space to be able to do that, start there and grow into you know, an off-site location where you can market and have a team that comes there and feels like it's the business place versus your house. You don't want, you know, your name of your company necessarily right on your house, so to speak, and people knocking on your doors or something like that, right? So hopefully that helps answer your question a little bit. Can your tote system be converted to something we squeegee out of? I don't want to spray to start. Absolutely, 100%. You can take your spray tip right off of your spray gun. Actually, we have clients who have big air operated spray systems, and they still do that. They'll go up the driveway and they'll take the tip off the gun, off the wand, and they'll keep the volume that's pushing down that hose right out the gun. It will be at a lower level. They'll lay the bead, and then they'll brush the sealer and or squeegee it along the for the driveway, and that prevents you from having to spray it. You can do it by hand. Do we have any shipping delays? We actually do have shipping delays depending on the piece of equipment. And yeah, it's been a very, very challenging year with components. As an example, Honda engines, like you can barely get your hands on a Honda GX engine. Titan, our stripers, we're like 4 to 6 weeks out on some sprayers. We do have some Powerliner 850s in right now that we had to pick up through another retailer and to be able to get to our audience, but and our customers. But I'll tell you that there are shipping delays on certain items. So I would say speak to one of your reps here at Asphalt Kingdom, or feel free to reach out to me on social media, and I'll let you know what is kind of on delay. But for the most part, all RhinoWorks equipment, crack sealing machines, the spray systems, we've been able to keep stock through an extremely challenging time with components. And we take pride in that. We've worked really, really hard with RhinoWorks in making that happen and making sure we have the stock to be able to fulfill through that process. How can you clean your tote system? Very important for longevity. It's so true. If you were spraying with a tote spray system and you're just getting started in the business, because I honestly don't recommend that you keep a tote spray system forever. I really always recommend that there's an evolution to your growth. There's this evolutionary process where you start with, something that you can really afford from a budget perspective. You're able to get started on the right foot and you're able to grow from there. It's so important to reinvest into it. So if you are operating a tote spray system, just know that you don't have any paddle agitation inside the tank. You really just want to make sure that, as the sealer settles into the bottom of that tote, you're going to have settling of the solids that are in the corners of that tote. And so it's important to get in there with a long piece of pipe and to clean out that sludge out of the corners, any of that the solids, coal tar A's that's settling. You want to just move that out, give it some mixing. If you don't have a tote, agitator that you can put through the top, they're pretty darn expensive. But if you can move those chunks out and get them moved around with that pipe, that helps to keep the tote clean. And then what I would strongly recommend is you empty the sealer from that tote. Like, make sure that you're emptying the sealer from that tote as you're going through your season. And usually that tote, when you do empty it, it's good to give it a good flush, a water flush, and make sure that you're not just disposing of the dirty water into a yard or a sewer or something. Make sure that you're using that sealer water, that murky water, compromised water. Make sure you're using that for dilution for your future concentrate loads that you might be filling in your tote, so you can reuse that water within the concentrate. Hopefully that helps, but you definitely want to clean that out. Wanted to know how we go about getting contacts with companies. It's a great question. You can do it manually. Nowadays, you can pretty much do it online through Google. So if you're wanting to look up a business name, you can usually go to LinkedIn. You can usually go to Google and just literally search for the person's name. And that is one way of doing it. It's a very tedious, time-consuming thing. Personally, I think that your time might be better spent out doing work and on the road giving out solid proposals from leads that might have shown interest in getting that proposal. And so what I would say is go to Upwork, Odesk, or Fiverr, these freelance platforms, and find a person there, a freelancer, that can do the actual scraping and list building for you. And what you'll find is that they'll give you, let's say for the state of Alabama, they could give you all of the storage facilities for the state of Alabama. And you'll have their name, number. I said it earlier in this live, but you can get all their contact information and then work that workflow that I spoke about as well. I would first off ask a very important question, and one is, what are you doing to separate yourself from the people that are actually those hacks and or company that's a hack? So an example, a lot of people say, well, how am I going to win this business that my competition's underpricing me on? They're just running out doing this weekend warrior stuff, and it's just trying to undercut me on every angle. And what I say to you is this: is your branding extremely world class? Is it powerful? Like black and yellow pavement is a great example. Look at that branding. The branding is an extremely powerful, bright thing. He's not shy to be, this is Alex Lucic, who's the president of Black and Yellow. He's not shy to be on Instagram on the forefront with his business page. He's not shy on being on Facebook. He's got YouTube up. He is literally branding everywhere. He's found everywhere. He's got a great website. The credibility is there. His guys wear branded shirts. They wear hats, and he has the trucks that are branded to a T. So what I would say is separate yourself from the competition. In regards to licensing, a lot of people have asked, do you need a business license? And that it really breaks down to, it can break down to state, county, municipality. And I don't want to just generalize an answer on that. It really depends on your local area. And so you want to really speak with your municipal authorities about what is allowed and what's not allowed. We haven't broken that down into a chart yet. Maybe it's something on the horizon that we can do to help, cut to the chase there. But I would just call your local authorities and ask them the question of what it is that you need to do this properly so that you're set up for success. Don't ever do something that you shouldn't be doing. it's not worth it, right? Your reputation and and you want to make sure that you're abiding by the law and your business isn't getting hurt because of that. The door knocking can be a challenge. There's no doubt at all. And you want to be careful with that too, with the door knocking. You want to make sure, and this is from Jason Allen, regarding the door knocking, it's really important that you have your solicitation permits if they even allow it. And that can be, different with every municipality. And you want to make sure that you're speaking to your town hall or municipality about that before you go out and just do something that you could be fined about. You just don't want to go down a road that's not legal in your area. So don't do anything that you should not be doing. Make sure you're following what the rules are in your local area. The trickle effect's going to happen everywhere, right? You cannot continue to set a retail quoted price at the old quoted prices. If you have bids out and quotes out right now, I strongly recommend putting a time sensitivity attached to them, because the reality of it is your costs of material and equipment are going to be rising, and it's going to happen going forward. Does that mean that we should curl up in a fetal position and not move forward with an opportunity or business? Let's face it, asphalt maintenance is recession proof and pandemic resistant. I'll tell you that we've thrived through this time. And I know that, in our groups at USA Seal Coaters and different places and just feedback at Top Contractor School, what we're hearing definitely is that people have been rammed with work this season. So I would say to you, I would strongly recommend moving forward with the business, as long as you're going to go out and be professional about it and make sure that your margins are nice and fat and healthy, and that you're able to scale your business and reinvest into it. I wouldn't not do it. I would chase it. Dreams are dreams. We did Squeegee applied, but it seems spring in my area is what people are doing. Is the brush method better? You want to know something? It's like it's a very common debate. A lot of people like to do the brush application, and I'll tell you that I have a good buddy now, Greg Francis. He has a YouTube channel called Seal Coating His Life. Phenomenal channel. He does great work. He for the most part, he does brushing for residential. So for smaller projects, brush. But when you get into big parking lots, like 200,000 square foot type lots, even smaller than that, 50,000 square foot lots, spraying is a lot faster. And as long as you're doing a proper 2-coat application for those kind of large projects, I think that it's absolutely fine to do the spraying on large projects. I've sprayed my whole life, and I've done brush. I've brushed sealer. I've done it every single way that you can imagine. And for certain applications, certain things are great, and others it's different, right? It's like a weed whacker is great in certain areas of a lawn, but a lawnmower is better in others. And so, if you choose to cut the whole lawn with a weed whacker and you're really good at it, cool. But it would be hard to cut a football field with a weed whacker, Hopefully that helps. We have trained an employee in line striping, but what wise advice would you offer him to just starting out? He does have a goal of starting his own business. I'll tell you what, Billy Davidson, we actually market a course together, the How to Price a Line Striping course, and then he's got the All Pro Striping course. I mean, I'm a little bit biased, obviously, but Billy Davidson's been in the business for over 25 years. He's just an awesome guy. That 9-hour video training system is unbelievable. We sell a lot of them on Asphalt Kingdom site. Drop that link in there if we can, Mercy. And yeah, the Billy Davidson All Pro, that's what I would do. I would invest money into a proper course that gives all the ins and outs, the pricing details, the how-tos, and the ways of really doing it extremely well. We've got district manager had another asphalt company to do 7 stores, and they have not done it yet this year. Is it inappropriate to throw out a proposal? And if so, how do I price it? It's a fantastic question. Here's the thing. If you have a goal, which is a financial goal that you're setting for your company, yes, go after sending proposals to people who you can solve problems for and over deliver that value. You really need to be able to deliver a professional proposal. And The thing is, they might not go after the whole kit and caboodle today, right? They may not go after the whole package, crack sealing, pothole repair, seal coating, striping. But maybe if you present a proposal that has all of that, but you have a note that says, we understand if you don't want to move forward with all of that, let's move forward with one of those services now. And let's get you in the door to at least take care of the main core problems of that pavement asset. That could be crack sealing and pothole repair. What's the best way to gather, organize, and send out email and follow-ups? It's such a good question, man. And I just erased it off my dry erase board up there, but we're working on some pretty cool campaigns right now. And I actually just shot a video yesterday about literally how to do this. And I've created the email templates, I've created the call scripts, I've created the workflow template, I've created the how to generate lists and leads. And that is, it's one of the great questions is, okay, well, I want to scale and grow my business and I don't really want to knock on doors constantly because cold calling kind of sucks. You know what I mean? So I'll tell you that the way I recommend that you do it is as follows. First off, understand the workflow. If I want to do this, why am I doing it? Why am I first out doing it? How am I going to do it? So if I do this, this will be the result. If that's the result, then I can achieve that or that. That can then lead to something else and so on. So that workflow is a very important first stage. I'll just tell you, in that workflow, the very first thing is list building. And how do you build a list of what I call prospect list of potential people that you can convert from a prospect to a lead, and then a lead to an MQL marketing qualified lead to a sales qualified lead, and then a sales qualified lead to a customer. And the way you do it is you go to like Upwork or Odesk or Fiverr. These are freelance platforms that you can go to, and you can hire people that can scrape data from the internet. So the one I shot yesterday was about storage facility, and that's coming soon. So check out our channel, subscribe to our channel, and click the ringy bell notification thing so that you get notified when we push out content, because that video is going to have huge impact on your business straight up for anybody that's wanting to scale and grow their business within their state or their municipality, county, etc. Upwork, you go there, there's data scrapers there, you tell them what you want. So I want name, first name, last name, email address, website, physical address of the property. You want to have that information, and all within this zip code, for example, or within this state, or nationwide, whatever you really want. And generally, you're going to spend about 20 cents for every lead that prospect that they put into that Google sheet for you. And once you have that list, then it's a matter of you doing your Google AdWords. So your retargeting campaigns, you can upload that email list and you can now target them through Google AdWords. You can hit them on social media ads. You can send them out emails. You can phone them afterwards once you've warmed them up with really value, purpose-driven content that's speaking to them about the importance of maintaining their asphalt and why they should do it. And then you have a landing page from those ads. That landing page on your website would have structure about, providing them with a free pavement assessment, for example, a virtual free pavement assessment, and they fill out the form with their name, their email address. You get that again through a lead capturing solution that turns into what we call a marketing qualified lead. That marketing qualified lead, once that's in, you now have the ability to be able to communicate with that marketing qualified lead, right? Because they've expressed interest now in your business. They're not a prospect on that list anymore. They're interested. They turn now into a sales qualified lead where you have communication. That communication then goes to hopefully a proposal that you can deliver to them. Obviously, we've developed the Pavement Pro solution that allows you to create professional proposals through that system. You give them a proposal. You hope to close the deal, of